Hello, everyone. My name is Nathan, otherwise known as Old Man Builds. I'm stepping in for Mike Faraday, and we're here with the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. We have Phil. We have the Penny Factor. Hopefully, we'll have Lulu and Gerald here soon enough. Guys, how you doing?
Doing great. Yourself?
Pretty good. Yeah, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. I've had a good week.
Yeah.
A really good week, man.
That's
So,
good to hear.
well, I'll start it off a little bit. I made dirt conductive. So, I didn't just light a light bulb on top of the dirt. I lit it 3 feet away from it. So, I used cold
Yeah,
energy to do it.
You showed us some really pretty incredible stuff the other night. A lot to digest there.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
saw you had a video on the gravity flyer, but I was hoping to see it live, but I think you it was just you were presenting an update for a verbal update, but yeah, I didn't see the gravity flyer itself.
No. What I was trying to do is show people that I was pulling mere energy out of the ground, is what I was doing. So I was using the ground as a capacitor for a massive amount of energy.
Okay.
And in order to do that, I needed to show them how to make dirt conductive. It just sounds like an oxymoron. Like, why would you even try to make dirt conductive? That doesn't sound right at all, right? But I did it, and I made the dirt conductive. I made it more like a capacitor. So at 20 volts on a Tesla coil, I could go 5 feet away, no problem. That's unheard of. You could lucky if you get like 2 feet, if that, at a perfect Tesla coil. So I was able to up the capacitance in the coil, and I didn't gain any heat in the system. It all stayed cold. So it was an absolutely amazing thing. So we had a great night the other night about that. That was awesome. So I also used water as a conductor, like a wire, and was
Okay.
able to put the cold energy right through it. And the best part about it was, Phil, I didn't even attach it to my Tesla coil. I simply ran the wire down the center of it, attached to nothing, and I did it.
Oh yeah.
So
So it worked.
it worked. Absolutely, it worked. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Hey,
Well,
everybody.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, here, I'll pull it up for you and you guys can check it out. We'll
Sounds
just
Gerald.
pretty.
play a little short clip of it.
You gonna play the one where you're doing the conduction through the dirt?
Yeah. Like I said, I'll play a little bit of it so you can see it.
Yeah, this one's cool. It's a dirty video, guys. Don't look.
We have our wire. Simply right there. We're just going to put it into the mud. Going to go right over here to our Tesla coil. Again, wire's not connected to anything. We're going to put it down our Tesla coil. Make sure it goes to the bottom so it doesn't create spark over. Now, we're just going to use the Slayer exciter circuit. We're going to light up a light bulb next to the Tesla coil. Then we're going to light up a light bulb next to the mud. Here's the question. Will the mud be able to light up a light bulb at any distance? Interesting thing to see. Let's find out. We're going to turn off the lights and start our experiment. Hi, Lulu.
Hello. How are you guys?
Hey, Lulu.
How are you guys?
Doing good. We're lighting up mud, Lulu. As we can see,
I didn't get to see it yet, but I saw
already.
like that you posted a
Let's
video.
take a look right
I really
here.
want to see it.
Let's see how far it takes our light bulb. I'm still lit up on my light bulb, but barely, and I'm 5 feet away. So yes, it's adding more to our Tesla coil because it's acting as a ground as well. Now, let's look at our other one. We already see that we're lighting up our ground, and it's lighting up a light bulb. Let's see how far the distance goes now.
Nice.
I lit up dirt.
Nice. So that's just with the ground, the grounding that you have. You have this energy. That's pretty cool.
The dirt is the ground.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
incredible.
what's in the
In a
what did you
distance,
put in the
we're
dirt?
lighting it up pretty good. So the ground has become conductive. So
I think it's just regular dirt, right?
yeah, it's just outside dirt, man. I just took a couple shovelfuls of dirt, put it in the water that was already in the tray, and mixed it up like a mud patty. So here's the best part, guys. I absolutely have no connection whatsoever to my Tesla coil. Let me find the spot. Thing to see? Let's find out.
Oh wow.
There it was. It goes to the bottom. So for a Tesla coil. Again, wire's not connected to anything. I simply put it down the center of my Tesla coil. I did not connect any wire to it.
So the dirt is conductive.
The dirt's conductive because of the way I put the wire down my Tesla coil. I pulled cold energy right out of it where nobody thought it was.
I
It's
need
really
one
awesome.
of these coils.
But you said it yourself. It's a pump. That makes sense.
Yeah, it gets brighter though. Watch when you put the bulb on the dirt.
Yeah, right when it makes contact. It's like it's you plugged it in.
Yeah.
You plugged it into the
Can
mud.
It
You
gets
guys hear me
brighter.
now?
Can you do something like that? Do you think you could do something like that underwater
No,
for submarines?
not underwater.
No.
No, through the water. Well, maybe actually. I don't know. That's an interesting question.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd have to flood my backyard and do it. So I'll show you.
I've been doing some. Yeah, there's some
What'd you-
stuff we'll go over this weekend because I've been doing some experiments.
Nice. I was hoping you'd do some experiments. So I'll show you one more picture and then I'll be done sharing for my part.
The picture you sent me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is my backyard. It's just a 10-foot by 10-foot spot. And I'm just conditioning the dirt right now. So basically I filled it up, leveled it off, and then filled it up a couple more times and let the thing soak in there with water. The question is when I put my wire into this one, can I get the whole thing to light up at once? Does it light up with different speeds? And then once the water drains out, it's just mud. Is it conductive everywhere? So go ahead.
Can I make an educated guess?
Go right ahead.
I think looking at the size of your yard on that video that you showed me and then this, I think you'll pull out 5 kilowatts.
I think what?
I think you'll pull out somewhere around 5 kilowatts.
Mm.
Maybe
So
I'm
that
wrong.
means. So does that mean that I only have to put in 20 volts, or am I?
Remember, you're just tickling it. The capacitance in the ground. Think of Ed Lead Scallan's TPU, right? It's like a bar that's like a U and then a plate underneath. Once the magnetic's locked in the loop, it's locked. He just taps that off of that for the little light. Well, that's what you're doing on a large scale. So I don't know. Maybe the tickle will be enough. We won't find out till you do the experiment.
So I'm excited to do this one because there's a lot of people that look at the other one that say, okay, did you take the glass into effect? Did you take the wire that you put down the center into effect? Is the distance a problem? In this, it kind of leaves no doubt. If I plug it in one corner and go to the opposite corner and I'm lighting a light bulb, there's just no doubt about what I'm doing.
And that's 10 by 10?
10 by 10. Or it's probably 11 by 11. I don't know. It's close.
Close, yeah. Nice. I look forward to that one.
It gives you the ability to be able to multiply it out now. I know exactly how much more power it gave to my Tesla coil the first time. Now I'll be able to do this. And then, if somebody really wanted it, I could do a 2 foot by 2 foot and just do the measurement, off to the side.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm wondering, though, is 6 to 8 inches down in the dirt soil that I have is hard rock. It's like hard dirt, okay? But after that, it hits the moisture layer. So
That's
I'm wondering...
That's an insulative layer, dude.
So what I'm wondering is, if I conditioned it well enough to get down to that layer, will it conduct over the hard dirt just like I did the dirt clod? So it's always a question. You never know how much water's in the soil, but I live in California, so probably not as good as conditions as somewhere else that gets a lot of more rain. But it's definitely interesting to think about.
I got an experiment for you to do because you could do it differently than I've done it. I've been saying this a lot on lives for a long time, and nobody really understands what I mean, because it's just like when you're playing with this kind of tech, everybody says the same thing. It's a series of things that you can do with your tech. And what does that mean, right? Well, remember how I said we can grow food faster than normal and it's more luscious?
Mm-hmm.
There's an experiment that I'm going to show you soon that's really cool.
Oh.
So let's just say the way that I found that is the same way that you're doing it, except picture running a pickup coil from the inside open core of mine, and then it grounds into each pot full of dirt, something in it, and it goes from pot to pot to pot to pot. And then it comes back to the coil.
Wouldn't you have to do, a control to compare both? Like one with...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've had many controls.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. I did it with 3 marijuana plants because it's legal here. Okay. And marijuana plants have a very specific growth rate, timeline, and everything. And they produce only so much. When I was done the experiment, 3 times as much. And it was faster. So I tried it with tomatoes, which is a symbiotic plant. Same effect.
It's kind of like, I heard a while back NASA was trying to use some electricity with their plants up there and do experiments with it. So I don't know exactly what they did. It'd be interesting to find out and then compare the two and see if it kind of matches or didn't matches or what the results were.
I wonder if a Tesla coil would work up there.
Yeah, I agree on that. I'm sorry, you said what, Gerald?
I wonder if a Tesla coil would work up there in space or on the moon or whatever, right? It's interesting.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to do in space, some Tesla coil experiments.
Yeah.
No, but if,
Nathan, keep that in mind when you get your gravity flyer working for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool. It's if it could work underwater, you can make a fortune with the military for the submarines and things like that. If a submarine could self-energize itself, because it's a vehicle that needs energy, a lot of energy, needs to be silent and things like that. So,
well, this is exactly what Tesla was talking about, and this is the secret to Tesla's power. So if you think about it, yeah, I'm pretty sure it would go through water in that sense. But you would have to have a submarine that was set up in order to capture that energy. It wouldn't be like you could modify one that would do it.
You just modified it with a field on the outside and you'd be able to pull it off.
Yeah, it would have to be a specific field, but you're not wrong. Yeah, you could do it. Sure.
Hey, Gerald, I'm having trouble hooking in your channel to the StreamYard. It keeps saying that you have something set up on there already for the live. Can you go through your channel? It might have did it for you, and now it's just messing with me. Can you go through and see if there's something set up on there on your channel, and then clear it, just delete it, and then I'll rehook it back in.
So Nathan, that patch in your yard, the one that you filled with water, would you use the same size coil, like Tesla coil, or would you need a bigger one to?
I'm gonna use the same exact Tesla coil to repeat the experiment.
So you're just seeing how far the conductive, in the dirt, right? Like, or what do you? Why are you making it bigger? This is what I'm trying to understand.
So we're trying to eliminate the glass aspect of it.
Okay.
And we're trying to eliminate if the wire was just too close and it was putting off signals. So I don't see a problem here. I mean, the water is conductive. So we know that. We know that water is in mud and mud becomes conductive.
Yeah.
Now it's time to find out if that capacitance does the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, if I could stand and hold the light 5 feet above the dirt, is it still going to light up?
Okay.
Because I'm looking for a multiplication of the numbers. So I got 3 feet now. Can I get 5 feet then?
Okay, got it. No, okay.
So if I were to take a city like Angkor Wat, and in the center, all I did was put the Tesla coil as their main tower, I could literally light up Angkor Wat completely with light bulbs all day long if this works.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
And then I could take a water source and make it a saltwater battery as well, and I can retain the energy inside of it. So there's ways to do things, and it makes you live with the earth, but you're still producing a ton of energy.
Wow, man, that would be really, really awesome. Like light up a whole, I don't know, small city.
Yeah. But it would also tell you why the ancients would put water all around their cities and stuff like that. And it give a lot of answers to a lot of researchers out there. Again, if I'm successful, that's the whole key there.
And do you think the height of Wardenclyffe Tower contributed to the distance at all? Like the distance he was trying to achieve?
The potential voltage. Well, the potential voltage actually would define the distance. So yeah, you could be right about that.
So it's just like a amplifier, basically, the higher you go.
Well, I think there's a secondary effect. So the higher you go, the more free energy you get. So it's like a corona motor. You hook it to your kite, you put it up in the air or drone, and when it's up there, you can run a corona motor based on the atmosphere. Now, depending on how tall the Wardenclyffe was, you may be able to draw in energy at the same time as you're connecting to ground, which will give you a double source of energy. Then you hit, make a jackpot of energy. That's.
How do I remove those? Sorry, on a different subject, Nathan. I apologize.
No, it's not a problem. So did you find it?
I found it. Yeah, there's two premier.
There's 3 little dots on the right of your title.
Yeah.
There's 3 little dots right there. Click those.
Okay. I don't see the dots.
Should be like right next to where the pencil icon is and stuff for edit.
Yep. I'm blind as a bat.
Okay, you see it on my screen?
Yep.
See where my little cursor's at?
Oh, okay, but now that's a premiere, right? Like.
So it would be under your live section.
Okay, I'm on live.
Then you click the little dots.
Okay, but I'm not seeing the lives. Okay, I'm brain dead. I'm not seeing what you're seeing at all. Hang on, I'll mess around with this. I'll get back to you.
Okay. Sorry about that, Gerald. Yeah, so you're going to pull atmospheric energy down, and then you're going to pull the ground up so the center should be way more energy, because now you have a pump from the Earth up here in the atmosphere to the ground down here, and now you're pulling from the center of the pump.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you get double duty. So, Phil, what do you got going on today?
Cool stuff. I mean, it's kind of an extension of what I did last week, but I did a lot of calculations all week long, and because I'm getting prepared for the conference in December in Texas. So I cannot afford to have any calculation wrong, but so far so good. I'm gonna present what I have so far without all the mathematics, because that's what I'm trying to sell to the military. But I'm just gonna show the graphics that I get. So if I show this, so can you see that little graphic here?
Give me a second and pull it up. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Yep. So I'm trying to create a force field. A force field is actually an extension of the strong nuclear force. You know, the strong nuclear force that kind of attracts protons together at a close distance, and repels protons from electrons. So that the very close distance. So I was able to explain it using my theory, but I want to scale it up to harness it to create a force field. And here we see. I think I got the right constant in my calculations here, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think I'm very close to the answer. So if you have a bullet coming at you, then it's possible to deflect it and to create a repulsive force. A repulsive force that's with a very high counter acceleration amplitude. So, for example, if I have a charge, if I have some, let's say, 100,000 coulombs or amps, if I have this current, that I could create a force field that would deflect a projectile coming at me. It would counter. It would create a counter acceleration force of 1 times 10 to the 28 meters per second, which is pretty high. But so I need to test it. Obviously, I need to find a way to test this. But in a certain range of amps or coulombs, it should create some sort of force field. So that's what I'm gonna sell. I'm gonna sell my equations to the military, because obviously a force field will be quite useful to them. And so that's what I've been working on all week long in these calculations. There's just one constant I'm not sure that could change the amplitude of the acceleration and the distance and the required charge as well. But I know it's possible. I know if I get the right constant, I know that it's possible to create a force field, because it can explain the nuclear force. It can explain the black hole. Remember last week I was saying that black holes is actually repelling matter within the Schwarzschild radius. It's not dragging matter, it's kind of repelling it if you cross the event horizon. So it's the same principle, the exact same maths here. And I know it's possible to repel, to create a force field that's going to create a bullet coming at you at 300 meters a second.
I gotta warn you now. My theory's gonna come out very soon, and my work and your work crosses.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
It's fun to have completely different logic with the same conclusion, you know.
maybe through different means of getting there, but absolutely, our work crosses 100% in that particular realm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to hear about that.
for sure.
Somebody asked if you had a range on it.
The range, yeah, it's the distance is the meters are like tens to the 10th time minus 11 meters. So these are very short distances, but it doesn't matter because look at the amplitude of the counter acceleration. So the bullet is you have to wait. The bullet is getting close to you, but the counter acceleration is so strong that it's going to deflect very quickly.
So it's kind of like what we see in the new Dune movie, where they have like those force fields, but they're really close to their chest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's really cool.
I think it would go more than your chest. Okay, so like my research defines your whole body. The field actually coincides with your heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Field that will cover like all of you.
Everything, your whole body. Think of it like this: if there was such thing as I can't think of the word. It's meditative processes. They say that there's a magnetic body that surrounds your whole entire being.
Yeah, the aura.
Your aura. Thank you. So think of it like that. Your aura is right close to your body, except there's like a very thin line in between you and your aura, right? And then your aura gets kind of fuzzy as it comes out. Well, it's the same thing as these force fields. Surrounds your whole body. Becomes part of your body. I don't think you could separate it into like a singular arm bar or a shield. Maybe. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I believe it covers the whole body.
Yeah, that's awesome. Different perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that way if the bullet comes at you and it deflects, someone shoots at you from behind, it's still going to deflect. It doesn't make a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
I like this idea. This is really cool.
And so it's I just need to I think I got the right constant, but I am gonna triple check and quad check my maths here, but so far so good. Then also I've got a paper that's gonna be peer reviewed. They hired a PhD to help me out writing all the mumbo jumbo maths that needs to come up with it, but it's gonna be peer reviewed and it's gonna take some time to be accepted. But after it does, then we'll see what happens. But it's to replace dark matter, and it's a way to replace dark matter using gravito-electromagnetic force. I already replaced dark matter using time dilation, but it's just a different way. But it doesn't matter as long as it gets accepted, and we'll see what happens. It's maybe worth something.
We call dark matter cold energy, but it's the same thing basically.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
But no, that's the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, dark matter. The dark
Go,
matter
Phil.
for me is just the effect of time dilation, time contraction that plays a role. Like you remember, Nathan, when we were talking about galaxies last week, the
Yes.
closer you get to the center of the galaxy, the slower you're gonna travel. So that's why. That's because of the time dilation. The closer you get to the center of the black hole, the slower you're gonna travel. But at the same time, the force vector is gonna flip. If you get past the event horizon, the force vector is gonna flip 120 and 80 degrees. You're actually gonna be repelled from within the inside the black hole. You're gonna be ejected. So there's no like singularity or anything like that. It's just you're actually gonna get repelled. So it's actually safe to jump in the black hole.
Let's
We'll
go.
let you go first. Yeah. I'll sit in the spaceship for that one.
Yeah.
I'll record it.
Yeah.
We're there for you, Phil.
Yeah,
All right. I'll go first to prove it to you. It's
there
gonna
you
take
go.
for me. It's gonna take time for me to come back, but I'm still gonna be alive, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, we'll be all like gray hair and stuff by the time you get back. If not, we'll be
Wasn't there-
skeletons in the ship waiting.
Wasn't there
Yeah.
a movie that like they go into a black hole or a planet close to a black hole, and like they spend 10 minutes, but when they come back, like 6 or 7 years passed for the people on the ship or something like that?
Yeah, that was a movie in the 80s, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
I can't,
Odyssey.
There was another Interstellar as well came out, and that
Maybe-
was
maybe
Yeah,
Interstellar, yeah.
Interstellar.
That was a
But
good.
yeah, Hollywood they had the whole bunch of weird stuff. I mean, I don't know what they smoke over there, but I remember Interstellar. They were kind of traveling through time and they inside the material, or I don't know. It was kind of weird. So we need imagination. That's what drives our world for research.
Yeah.
yeah, they're microdosing or something over there.
Double dosing.
I mean,
I wanted to read a
honestly,
comment by Victor. It says, I just heard dark matter was not to be matter, but something akin to scalar thermal stuff.
Thermal? You mean
Thermal stuff.
kind of the opposite of cold, huh?
Well, scalar, which
thermal
is
does-
true, and then thermal, which is cold. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, you got to have
That's
both
interesting,
sides of
yeah.
the same scale, right? Like,
That's right.
Got
Gotta
hot.
Victor
balance.
always has some interesting thing. Thanks, Vic.
yes. And shout out, Vic. Hello.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah, so
Well, I hope that works out for you, Phil. That's awesome.
yeah.
yeah,
me too.
thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
military would be really interested in that one. You know, like a deflection, a shield. I mean, that's. I don't think anybody would be against it in any way. You know, that's like.
Yeah, and we don't need like astronomical amount of energy or anything like that. It's a decent amount of energy to create that force field. So that's why it becomes interesting,
Yeah.
And but one thing I would like is because you need a constant amount of energy to have the deflection on. But one thing that would be great is just to turn it on. Turn it on when you have a projectile, when you detect a projectile coming at you. So you just like turn it on the fly, So
So you need like a Doppler or a detector or something like that to detect.
yeah, but the
Oh,
problem
it's-
the problem with bullets is they go at 400 meters a second, and the speed of sound goes at 300 meters a second. So it's hard to detect using sound because the bullet goes faster than sound.
Yeah.
So you need another way to detect it.
What do they use for
There's a way.
rockets and stuff like that? What do they use? Is it like a radar, or what is it exactly that they use?
For rockets, yeah, they use radars and things like that, and lasers, and but for it would be easier to. I mean, it's kind of easier to protect a fighter jet and things like that because you just turn it on when somebody just blasts at you. You just turn it on, and all the bullets are being deflected. Well, it depends on the situation, but if you're a soldier, somebody is you're walking on the ground somewhere, and somebody is shooting at you, then it kind of needs to be more on demand. You turn it on when you need it.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel. Sorry.
Or it only deflects certain metals, so you can leave it on all the time. Programmed to deflect certain metals.
Yeah.
Remember, it's a field. It's a field of what? It's not just electromagnetics or magnetics itself. You're talking frequency. You're talking pressure. You're talking potential difference. So all that comes into play, right? So if you're able to control those things, it stands to reason that you would be able to literally define whatever metal's being fired at you or thrown at you, whatever, would deflect just that metal if you programmed your frequency and your potential difference to repel that and only that. It should be programmable.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for military use, I mean, they would be able to afford a constant energy field running, but like for normal use, that might not, for like civilian use, that might not be, doable. But for military, they could have their little battery packs and whatever to constantly keep it running, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I would assume, yeah. For military,
Well,
it'd be great.
I guess it would be more useful for a vehicle. It would be easier with a vehicle like a vehicle or a tank or a carrier, things like that.
Yeah.
Believe it or
Submarine.
not, I think it would be a little bit more complicated. You could do it, but I think it'd be a little more complicated.
Yeah.
Like Victor just said, this is a really good point. The military has nuclear batteries. So if you're using, high potential differential in magnetics, it might have issues with nuclear batteries. So everything has to be thought of carefully with that scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as far as just something for a person, that's easier to do.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but I'm just saying it's not science fiction anymore, and it's pretty easy to achieve, given you have the right range of amplitude of coulombs, the charges and things like that. So it's definitely possible. So,
Nathan knows about charge. He knows what it does. There's pressure in charge.
Yes. Tons of pressure in charge. It'd just be interesting because you think about it, if it's copper coming at you, then copper has problems with magnetic fields. So it'll slow it down. So that's a start. You know what I mean? And if you're talking high amps, you're right in that range, right? So that's probably perfect. That'd be the first starting test I would do, is to see if you can just, as it coming down at a field and see if it pushes it. That would be amazing.
Like a deflection.
Yeah. And see if it does that first.
Or just using a laser to see if the laser is deflected.
I have copper BBs and a BB gun. So that would be like a really good test.
Mm-hmm.
Create the field and fire at it and see if it went through the target or if it got deflected. That's really smart. I like that. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's definitely be an interesting
We'll have to
result.
talk, Phil. Hey?
Bullets, you know.
Maybe the Frenchmen will have to get together, huh?
Yeah, we gotta drink some real liquor at some point with some.
Yeah, I agree.
What'd you say there, Lulu? What was going on?
Sorry, Lulu.
Gerald was saying he's got a BB like gun with like small copper pellets. I'm like, well, I've got a real one with real copper.
Oh no.
Not in Canada. We're not allowed to play with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, y'all get in trouble.
But in Texas, we are. Here,
Oh, yeah, I know.
Oh, Texas, you run around with them on your hip, don't you?
do whatever we want in Texas.
Oh,
Part.
If I
the Wild
could,
West in Texas.
just for that, I'd have a couple of 6-shooters on my sides.
Oh, it's like a law. You move to Texas, you gotta be armed.
No.
Yeah.
Like, but they're assholes here. I had a very big collection, and they came and they took most of my collection because they had too much to have in one household. And yeah, and I still
Who took it? The police?
Yes. Yeah.
The police took it. Seriously.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a limit of collection you're allowed in your house.
Not a limit, but long story short, somebody told that I had on me that I had that much, so somebody concerned that I had that much, weapons in that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but but I still have some, so yeah, they didn't take them all.
I always imagined if I had a concealed weapons license and walked around with a gun on my hip, I'd have to get the cowboy hat and boots to match.
Oh, I could see it, Ben. It'd be like the Back to the Future movie. You'd get the pink shirt or something and the wrong color pants, big old belt buckle, looks like a title belt.
Perfect.
Just all the stereotypes Ben would have. Little danglies coming off the shoulders.
That song in the background.
Ben, you gotta stay in your lab coat. Like
hey, lab coat with a cowboy hat and boots.
Yes,
I'll do it.
That's
so
interesting,
funny, dude.
But that's a really, really cool invention, Phil. I think that would sway them, for something. I mean, yeah, it's very usable. Like, it's not something,
and it's a protectant. It's there to protect people. So I like that aspect as well.
They like safety things that promote safety for
yeah, anybody can make a weapon. It takes a real inventor to design something that protects somebody.
Yeah, and can you imagine? Deterrence is the best military strategy you can have.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? You try to shoot at somebody, and all your bullets are being deflected. How the hell you're gonna be scared of that guy?
Yeah, that was Tesla's theory. Put a shield around every country, and then there was no incentive to.
Tesla had other ideas, but that was one of them, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's in the Matrix.
I don't get into any of that because I'm not into weapons. And, a BB gun, that's one thing to play with. You plinking tin cans, showing the kid how to do it and stuff, but not my cup of tea.
Yeah, Victor says you have to do some twerking and some leather chaps. I think we're going towards the wrong kind of Western movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to work out well for Ben.
You may not want to go to Texas. I don't know.
Do you know that movie, The Matrix? Like how Neo deflects the bullets, like he stops them, like that kind of feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Good analogy.
I don't think.
Hey,
that way, but close. You know when he hits it with his hand and it deflects, because your field would be moving, right?
Mhm.
So as the bullet would come in, it wouldn't stop. It
would deflect.
It would literally spin off in another
Yeah,
angle.
because it still has momentum. Yeah.
And so does your field. So it'd be like capturing it, throwing it another way rather than it actually like stopping it dead cold. But I'd love to see that if that could happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I was just saying a minute ago in chat, like if we had Star Trek type technology in our lifetime, it would largely be due to Phil's work here.
Yeah, but you know that's that's the thing that as soon as you talk about things like that, because I'm going in incubators and things like that for my company, tell me out on how to sell things, and I have multiple projects. I don't have just the physics one, but I have software I want to sell. So, but sometimes I'm talking about physics, and I'm saying, I have a solution for force field, and they think, wow, that guy is watching too much Star Wars movies or something like that, you know. But that's the thing. If I was to talk about laser weapons 10 years ago, they would say they would have said the same thing. Oh, I'm watching too much Transformer movies, but
yeah, they would have thought you were ridiculous.
Yeah, and now it's a common thing. You know, laser weapons is a common thing in the military. So don't get don't get slowed down by the population's behavior towards what you think is possible for sci-fi stuff, and because we're never gonna move forward if you have to please everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
That's good advice.
I think phasers might be something that we might be able to pull off. If you think about it this way, if you're dealing with resonance, and I know the resonance inside your body that could just absolutely cause terror in there, you know what I mean? Then I don't know that it put out the red light that you'd like to see in Star Trek, but I could definitely do a lot of damage at distance.
They already have it. That's that heart attack gun. And then the brown note, it's the same thing. Right? So it's like they already have these kind of things, you know what I mean? And they have them small, apparently. I don't know. I wouldn't want to get hit with the brown note, that's for sure.
Yeah. Mike Dunn says that
yeah,
Mike Dunn says that they came out with transparent aluminum.
Oh, you mean from the movie? Yeah. Well, they came out with transparent
I heard about that
a few years ago.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
They also came out with transparent wood that you can chemically change it.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Really?
it's thick and it's bulletproof.
That's awesome. I gotta look that up.
Yeah, that's cool subjects, huh?
Absolutely.
Okay, hold on. So, real quick, David says he's going to design a resonating power supply as well. And he sent me the thing for the ZVS, variable ZVS with self-resonating design.
I got his PDF as well.
Yeah.
I haven't opened it yet. I haven't had time. I apologize, David. Today's been crazy. I'm trying to get set up for the 3D printer, and I'm dedicating a whole room to it. So it's kind of...
Oh, look at you go.
Yeah, I don't play around. If you're going to get something done, get her done right, you know. Speaking of which, I got that circuit drawn out for Ian. I was going to do the video today, but my cameras and stuff aren't set up right. So I'll get it done by tomorrow. I apologize for that.
David, this is what I was doing, just so you know. Digging a hole in my backyard. So getting ready to light up my backyard now. Since I did it in a little dish, I'm going to light up my backyard with it. So it's 10 foot by 10 foot. So it was very hard for me to do this, by the way. My back gave out several times. I took like water breaks every 2 seconds. So yeah, I was not feeling it.
Now, here's the other thing. I don't know if you have enough room in your yard to do this, but could you pick out a 10 by 10 or 11 by 11 plot and not dig it out and just pour water on it and see if it works the same?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping it rains in California at some point. And if it does, then I'll just go to the lot next store, plug in, an electrode to it, and let's just find out. That's what I want to do. And they just tilled the soil across the street. So, you know what I mean? That would be good right there. So it's soft dirt, get mud real quick, not a lot of hard clay. So it'd be perfect conditions for the first test. Then hard clay, all that, absolutely.
I still think hard clay is, I think there's something there that you're not expecting, but I could be wrong.
It could be a clay layer, and then underneath it could be wet, and you never know which layer you want to hit.
Well, a clay layer, would it not act like an insulator? And if you're penetrating underneath, it's almost like a capacitor right there, so to speak. I don't know. Just a thought.
Well, that's why you double rod it, and you run the double grounding experiment on that one. And absolutely, that was my thought.
Do you remember the conversation with the 2 batteries? They're important in the system. Mm-hmm. It's like 2 rods.
At a distance.
Yeah.
The further away that you still make contact with them, the bigger the field, the higher the amount of energy.
Absolutely.
So very interesting stuff, guys. We're gonna find out real quick, and we're gonna light up some dirt.
Yep, lots of experiments happening, lots of applicable experiments going from this to commercial products. I've got a couple already. Nathan's probably working on more than one right now. So the stuff's coming out.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm never going to sell it. I'm going to teach people how to do it, and that's it.
Not sell the principle or the system, but different products based on that principle that do different things. Like an alternator or maybe a greenhouse or.
So somebody asked me the question today, what use is it if you get tons of voltage out of the ground if you don't get a bunch of amps? So I simply said, here's Mike's motor. Here's the Renegade. If you can answer this question, then you have it. It's simply run on negative electricity. It runs backwards, and it still has quite a bit of power, and it works as a generator, so you can pull as much into a cap bank as you want and use that cap bank to fill up batteries and anything that you wanted to fill up. Literally, if you took that on site and just dug a hole and put mud in it and literally plugged your machines into it, you could just plug in your saw and everything else into it, and you're done.
Yep, right there. There it is. You could go anywhere. Third world countries, there's your power supply system.
Yep. Go ahead, Lulu.
I was saying it would be perfect for a construction site, like electricity on demand. You call any generators or anything, cables and wire, like there.
I think there has to be a product created where it's not so raw, like you go to a construction site and you slap up a Tesla coil and some poles, right? It's more like it's going to be a box that you just push into the ground with the 2 rods that belong to it and plug it in.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's probably the more futuristic idea of what's going to be happening.
Yeah, I can't wait to do the experiment after that. I'm going to, and this is something Gerald and I discussed, and I don't know how much I want to say, but I'm going to put the 2x4s up on the outside on all 4 corners. And I just want to see, kind of where the field goes. It just has to do something with wood and charge and how it holds it in and stuff. Kind of like the same experiment when you took your little lifter and you set it on the table and you're wondering why it's stuck into the table and it won't come off.
Yeah.
It's the same experiment. It's just how much is there in it?
Yeah, that's all. It's just a little bigger.
Yeah.
I look forward to that one.
It's going to be interesting because it'll answer a question that we had. And That I would think is awesome because Alexei always had a forest around him, or it was at a distance, but it was still there, or he went to the middle of the forest. Always has a damp ground when they have trees around because it's always sucking in water.
Yeah.
Was there something more to that? I don't know. I found out that the edge of the gravity flyer actually had more to do with it than you thought it did. And it has to do with how you separate negative from positive or less charge from more charge. And it really did matter. And a lot of people just kind of blew it off. So
here's a thing that a lot of people don't consider. Trees, when they're high enough, have a temperature differential from the peak to the base, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything comes into play in this.
That's why it's important. And then, do you let the wood saturate? Do you do not? Do you leave it dry? You kind of have to do it both ways to find out, right?
Do you saturate it with warm water, cold water? Those factors come into play. So
I was tempted to do my experiment right before this live, but it was just getting too close in time because it started to get dark, and I'm going, all right, great, it's getting dark. I could show the light bulbs to show up a little better, right? Where you can still see things at night. Now I'm going to have to wait until about 4:00 in the morning to pull that off.
I did one that you have to see off live before we show it. But it's interesting.
I like interesting.
I've been watching the show called Homesteads. Like, this person that comes helps these people, create off the grid living. This device would be such a good thing for these people, like for them to have electricity, to run water pumps, to run whatever, but I think there is a market for that, but it's more of, I think, like for homesteaders and people that live off the grid. But yeah,
I think they used to. I
would love to have one, but I like the HOA and the city and everybody else would be like knocking on my door, like, and
they want their money. That's what they want.
So it says here, laughing out loud, imagine the toilet be sparking and arcing. And he said it would help with the brown note.
Yeah. And
of course, it'd be the hot seat.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Oh my God. Oh, you gotta love the whole chat, man. They're on top of it as soon as you say it.
Yep, absolutely. And no, there's no circuits being drawn by me tonight. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, what about the spherical coil? Did you have a chance to work on it?
Yes, it's done, and I've been testing with it, and I've been seeing things that I'm mapping out a little bit more before I show it off.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because it's you're gonna want one. Okay,
oh, yeah?
I'll just say that you're gonna want one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I want to send a gift to everybody in our groups, but it's taking a little time. I'm slacking because I got so many projects I'm trying to finish right now, and once they're all complete, then I'll be able to do my thing and start sending stuff out.
Cool.
Very cool.
So Phil, in Texas.
Sorry?
When are you going to be in Texas?
December 2nd through December 6th in Austin, Texas.
That's like about 3 weeks, I think, right? Or a little less.
Yeah, in a month, exactly in 4 weeks. Well, 3 weeks. Yeah. So, I'll have a poster presentation. I still need to do my poster. I still need to build my poster, so I'm gonna have a poster presentation on the 5th, but the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th, I'll just be trying to reach people out. I have a booth actually with Dr. Ricken. So I have a booth over there. So yeah, man, I need to get my stuff ready. I'm just barely created my business cards this week. So yesterday actually. So
Bill's on the move. Bill's
Yeah.
getting her done.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm at the last minute. I'm always at the last minute. Shame on me, but at
You may
least
be one. You may be one of those people that works best under pressure, Phil.
yeah, that's
You know.
yeah. I remember when I was studying. I was doing like 5 exams at the last minute. I didn't do anything until the last minute, so I had to study half a semester 5 times in the same week. So that's
Nice.
crazy.
So real quick, Victor said he hasn't received it. I'm bad at shipping, Victor. This right here is yours. So it's all in silver. It's already done. I should have sent it out last week. I will send it out tomorrow, and then you'll have it in a couple days.
I'll be back in 5 minutes, guys. I'm gonna just gonna grab some alcohol.
More wine, like you did at the end of the last show.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna start right now to get warmed up.
He literally did a wine run at the end of the last show. Sorry, Phil. I had to give you a little bit of smoke for that.
I hope it was good wine at least.
No, well, not really, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, I hear you. And he's out.
Yeah. So, yeah, Victor, don't worry about shipping. I'll take care of it. It's not a big deal, man. Just be happy when you get it and everything's good with it. So,
And I should have that thing out by Monday. I was trying to get it out today, but I couldn't.
yeah, dude. You know what? I'm a bad shipper. Like, don't ask me to ship anything. It's like my wife handles all that. Yeah, and like if I have to get involved, it becomes a bigger deal than it should be. So I literally walk in like I don't know anything about how Earth works and ask the lady at the register to do all the work because I don't know. And when you ask me the phone number for somebody, I don't know. If you ask me the name beyond their first name, I don't know. If you ask me why they put initials for a name of a, you know what I mean, a city, I don't know. I just, none of it. I have no clue, man. So I could be sending it back to myself for all I know.
That's fair.
I literally thought I was shipping Gerald's printer back to myself because the lady was harassing me. It was like, okay, why did you put MB on there for Melbourne? Why would you go around and not have his phone number? Why is his last name not on here? I go, oh, I had that one. Hold on. I could do that. And it was like by the time we got done, it was like, why am I here? I feel like such an idiot. I need to go back home and get some more information. And I just said, okay, so what happens if he doesn't get it? She goes, well, they're either going to keep it out there or they'll try to contact him in some way. So I go, we're basically playing roulette with this thing, right? I'm betting on one color and that's it. And I go, all right, here we go. So I give her my credit card and oh my God, she rang that sucker so fast my eyes are spinning. So, and then just send it off, right? I said, all right, now Gerald, you have a tracking number. Good luck because I don't know what else to do. Let's just hope all the information was good.
I didn't even look at the tracking number. I just went, you know what? It'll come when it comes, and that's it. And it showed up at the door, and then I let you know on the rest of what was going on. So,
oh man, yeah.
There's a lot of stickers and a lot of duct tape.
Oh my God. So my packing method is as much duct tape as possible, and I bought a giant roll of the bubble wrap stuff.
Yeah.
So I just literally went around and around and around. And then just put some duct tape on it. Because I was like at Home Depot and I go, what do I need to buy for this? And I go, well, better wrap it up good. And then I ran out of regular tape. I used it all on Ben's, which should tell you something whenever you use a whole roll of tape on your stuff. And then I go, well, I have duct tape. It should hold. You know what I mean?
It did. I had to get a big knife to cut it open, actually. And that orange stuff was perfect. Because I watched.
Yeah, it took me an hour.
Yeah. See? Well, I watched the guy drop it off the back of the truck and then pick it up like it was nothing and put it on. And I was like, oh, man, something's broken.
Lulu, these boxes are like 50 pounds, okay? When I got done with like a 10-pound printer, it was like literally I added that much weight to it by keep adding more and more stuff to it. It must have been like a joke. Like, oh my God, how much you have to put in here?
Nothing broke. It was perfect when I pulled it out of the box. So you wrapped it like you know how to package perfectly.
Mike Faraday says hi.
Hi.
Hey, Mikey.
Hey,
This is
Mike.
me in here.
Hi, Mike.
We miss you.
Yeah,
See,
in my
other people
sword.
pack like me. Oh, Gerald had to get out his sword the other day to open the box.
That was just my box cutter. My sword's much bigger, but I'm not allowed to display it, so I got to keep it on the wall back there. I have a katana.
Seriously, there might have been 5 pounds of tape. I don't know. There was a lot.
I would say there was about 5. Well, yeah, close. If not 5, 4 at least. Yeah.
Oh my God, man.
Good.
Hey,
So,
you know what? They got to you guys. That's all that matters. And you'll have something to work with. And it'll turn out to be a good experience, hopefully. Ben's already working on his, so that's always cool.
You know what you need to do?
Yeah, we're done with the V-Gate, and we're printing something else.
You need to wrap it in bubble wrap, put it in a small box, wrap that box in bubble wrap, put it in a bigger box, wrap that Kidding, Victor. I'm kidding.
We're making Russian nesting dolls now.
Yeah.
Instead of sending out printers.
That'd be funny.
Dude, my wife laughed at me. She goes, why'd you get the biggest, thickest box they had? And I go, well, that's what they sold.
It worked.
All right, Ben, hold on. Let me put you on the solo real quick. You're on mute, Ben.
There we go. So the camera light is kind of making it a little hard to see. There. So this is the V-Gate, and you place the magnets in these little slots, and you can see it's a V configuration.
Oh, nice. I know exactly what that is. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's backwards. I think it's upside down, but as you can see, the V kind of goes into the opening of the next V. So it's like a handoff. So it makes it easier for one coil to pulse this.
Interesting.
Yeah, Mike Dodds came up with that, showed us that on a live. It was really cool.
Oh, really? I missed that.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be perfect. We're printing out what Michael designed as a PoE micro. So it's a really, really tiny one, about the size of your hand. It'll fit in your hand. So it'll be perfect for kind of trying to pulse this small little V-Gate.
Nice.
Actually, I might be able to show you the camera. It's printing right now.
Oh, look at him go. Man, he's getting some work out of that thing.
No kidding. I don't even have mine
a
set
little too
up.
high, so yeah. I set the speed a little too high, so it's not as smooth as it should be, but it should be fine.
I'm anxious to get started, especially now since yours is just rolling through it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The stuff I'm going to make, man.
Dude, I just finished this drum, and it took 1 day and 7 hours.
I got a list, man. I can't wait to get started.
Okay, so guys, when you want to figure something out to go faster, let me know, because I can get that done in a quarter of the time. It'll just start cooking for you, but it all has to do with how much infill there is and the distance between it. So you choose. Hey, real quick, Curtis asked if we're all going to be at APAC tomorrow, and I believe we'll all be in the crowd of APAC tomorrow. So we'll all be watching.
Yeah, we're not presenting.
Yeah, I'll stop by.
Might pop
Yeah.
I
in.
want to see what's up.
So.
Let's not all talk at once. It just gets too crowded.
Sorry, guys. I'm reading the comments as we're talking.
Yeah, I know. That's Sean was so good for that, eh? Like he was literally like going through them and while we're
Oh
all-
yeah, his pacing was really nice. I liked it.
Yeah, I sent him a message this morning thanking him for that. It was really cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. What time is APEC tomorrow? I think it's like 2 p.m. or something, right? Or noonish, maybe. Oh, it'll start earlier.
Yeah, he said it started earlier. Yeah, definitely want to check it out and see what's going on.
Yeah.
There's a couple things I follow on there, and I like watching. So, yeah.
Yeah, I used to be on almost, well, I was on a few of them, not presenting, but just in the background watching, and I always watch on YouTube, right? So
Are they having
you
the
learn.
mic or the presentation tomorrow? Because I got an invite, but I didn't know like if it was just to watch or to like the open mic one.
It's the open mic one where
Yeah.
you're interacting with them, right? You're on the same Zoom call.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. I'll definitely watch that. I know I have a show in the morning that I have to do. Joe and I go on an adventure every morning on Saturday to wherever Joe's mind wanted to go that morning. So I never know where we're going until like 4 hours before they'll give me a heads up. So it's like cramming for an exam. So like how much information can I learn about this in that amount of time or where he's going with it? And then it's like, boom, that's the way it works. Yep.
Joe always comes up with that way of looking at things that are just different than everybody else, but kind of makes sense in the end. I like watching Joe. I get a kick out of him. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Phil, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So yeah, what was the next topic, Lulu?
Next topic. We can talk about space a little bit. We could talk about
There's a lot of it in my head, so I don't know.
Okay. So this is cool. The Voyager probe, they started a little device that they turned off in 1981, and to conserve energy, but they restarted it up again and to communicate with it, but it's the low frequencies, the really, really, really low frequencies. I don't know why, but I think they're what is it called? The deep space network. The high frequency ones that they were communicating with do not work any longer. So they had to resort to turning on an old, I don't know, an old detector or something in there that they had to turn off like in 1981. So it's still working, and we're in 2024. That's
Wow.
yeah. So
No school like the old school, eh?
yeah, but you would think these things, would stop working after so many years, but it's working and they're communicating with it, so that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
What else?
Super ultra low frequency. That's what Mike said it was that they're communicating.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I like following up on the Voyager because that's the furthest thing, human made. So if we're gonna have any answer, it's not gonna be with the new stuff. It's just gonna be with the thing that's furthest. I don't know. I always wondered though if Voyager 1 and 2 communicate outside of Earth, like if they actually talk to each other without them communicating with planet with Earth. You know what I mean? Like the two probes, because if this is the planet Earth, one is like right up there and one is like right down there, but I always wondered if those the two like communicate outside, like out of the
through line of sight, from my understanding, at least when it's satellites.
Yeah. What else? What else was cool? Trump won. Sorry, I had to say that. You know,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we try and stay out of politics, but we know
Yeah,
it's all over everywhere.
yeah. I had to say it, like, cause I just, yeah.
I had a quick question for Nathan or Gerald or
go for it. What's up?
Bill. So I have the neon. It is a RNL 5G12 green neon, and I have the specs here. It says the breakdown voltage for DC is 90 volts, and the breakdown voltage for AC is 90 volts. Does that means it's the initial start of the voltage for it to excite? Is that like the minimum requirement for it to light up? So
Yeah, it won't even turn on to. Well, I don't know. That's a good question.
It's going pretty strong, and I had the oscilloscope hooked right up to it. And Mike's thought that the oscilloscope wasn't able to pick up the spike entirely, and mine's registering at it's registering a little bit below 50. I don't know if you can see that, but it's at the 50 volt resolution, and it's not at the top. So I'm wondering, like, if that's not even registering the correct voltage there.
Yeah, I think. Okay, I think there's an initial voltage and then a breakdown voltage. Mike was saying here means that you're breaking it and that you're burning out the bulb.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's
90.
the burnout point. So the
Yes.
initial might be lower, near like 40 where it's at. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make
Oh,
sure it's
that's-
reading accurately.
Okay, so that's new to me. I've never known that. I know I've turned on bulbs like just very dim, and then got them super bright, and then purple and pink.
Well, yeah, because most bulbs will work with a dimmer switch. So that's how I generally test them and put a potentiometer on it and give it a shot.
Resistance is futile.
Yeah, they're getting it whether they like it or not, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I'm using that one, Curtis Horn. I know it's Star Trek, but you brought it up, so you know. That's awesome.
Oh man, that's so great.
What is that sound? You guys hear that sound?
Oh, that's my. Sorry, I gotta mute. That's why I gotta mute my mic because that's the printer.
Oh, that's the printer. Okay.
Oh, Mike's talking about holes again.
Yeah, I said, watch out for the holes. We'll never live that down. No, nobody in this group will ever live that down.
No.
Every show.
Yeah, it comes up. Never mind when somebody in the comments section earlier said, "Oh, nice hole." I was going to go, "Yeah, it's one. He's not Canada. It's three."
Not three. It's in Canada. We're not probing the holes tonight.
Yeah, I've never said anything about that.
I was watching the Star Trek episode with Mike again. Absolutely hilarious. I get the greatest joy from that every time. Oh, that reminds me. Oh my God, because Ian was bringing up your drawings there of circuits, right? And then I saw a temple where they had everything inappropriate on the temple, some temple in India, right?
Yeah.
And they're all naked over there. So I was going to do the Star Trek episode with Gerald drawing the blueprints for it. And then they actually took it into consideration and built it that way.
That's funny. The way I draw circuits, it's close anyway.
He was trying to draw a circuit, but they took it the wrong way and they just built inappropriate stuff all over their temple.
Whoa, you may take some people off with that one though. Not us, but I mean that like the temple. I'm just saying. That's funny though.
Okay, let's see. Joe's asking a question. I think of testing wet clay and putting power strip. See you could draw out of it. We're just talking about the wet clay, and we're saying it might be like a capacitance lining or like a level.
Yeah.
So we're going to check that out.
But a power strip, I don't think so. It'd be more like just multiple bulbs, right?
Yeah. Well, trust me, I'm going to see what lights up in there. Dude, if I get LEDs to light and stuff like that out of your mud, then I don't know, man. I might mess around a little bit, make a landing strip, something. It's just something to be fun.
Oh, LEDs, like easily. I do, yeah, not a problem.
So
You can actually. I get where you're going with that. That's smart. I never thought of that. Landing strips that are automatic.
yeah. So
Would it charge a cell phone?
oh,
Yeah.
you'd have to rectify the voltage to do it, but absolutely.
Yeah.
You just have to get a transfer in there.
What if I bring the whole plug and put it in the ground?
Oh, I don't know about that. It's the wrong kind of electricity. It'd be like dirty electricity coming at it versus stuff that you'd be normally going from AC, because it's potential, not AC, and it would have too many spikes in it.
Mm.
If you had one of those little adapter plugs that were like a separate power supply that you plug into your phone, depending on what circuit was in that, it might work, but it's iffy. I've had those power supplies work with just connecting it directly to the coil, but it doesn't give much. So, and it depends on what's in there. It's iffy.
What about a converter? Like those converters if you travel overseas, would that work? If you plug that converter with then the plug, then or
Well,
not?
that's what Nathan was saying. Like, you'd have to have either that little plug that I was talking about acts as a converter, or you would have to like rectify it to DC and then run it through a circuit.
Okay, so it's the three.
Yeah, so this is where Mike's motor comes in for his Renegade motor. So it automatically rectifies it. It multiplies the amount coming out, and it transfers it back to DC or AC, whichever one you want. You'll be able to get both.
Nice. But it would work on halogen lights that you just bring
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it works on halogens. Those little ones.
Yeah.
I got those. They're like 100 watts. Works on those all the time.
Yeah, it bypasses all the circuits. You don't even need those. You just stick the wires in the ground.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited.
But those get hot though. Those halogens, they get hot.
The LEDs.
LEDs don't. No. It's weird. This tech seems to only draw as much as the load needs and no more.
Yeah. Smart voltage.
Yeah.
That's what Gerard Morin called it, smart voltage.
Knows what it wants to give and no more. That's it.
That's right.
Well, I'm excited to see it.
Well, if it works out, I might just lay a little strip of dirt all the way down and walk across it. And, you know what I mean? Let's see what it does. I'll just go out there with my bare feet.
Do you really want to do that?
We can't get into
Now that's what I call a strip show.
Yeah. Well, you're not getting that far.
You know where it goes from there. And if you're going to do that, there's something you have to stand on that's in the water.
We'll
talk.
Well, I think, yeah, like I said,
something else first before you do it, before you walk on it, bare feet. Just
I've already done the test that this voltage that I set it at is not going to hurt. Okay. Not at all. The only thing, like I said, I'll put down a strip of dirt so I can walk over it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I wish I had some pieces of granite. I would just put them there and walk over it. There's just a lot of different things I want to try. A little bit of marble, maybe.
I've got a piece of marble. You.
Let's just say this, okay?
More.
As a thought experiment, what I've talked about prior as to what it does for certain situations, if theoretically you were to stand in it, it doesn't hurt. Theoretically, because it's negative energy. Wouldn't it just go around you? Just
it's up to you, Gerald. I can show that video if you want. Not yet. All right, we're waiting for you, buddy.
Okay, because I got one that I want to show and I don't have it queued up. I have to do a little edit.
Don't worry about it. We'll do it another time.
We'll do it. You know what? We'll do it together. I got.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Well, I could load the file into StreamYard, and then you can pull it down and edit it together if you want.
Oh yeah, or we could show it live together too. I'll
Oh,
pull mine
okay.
up and you can pull yours up, and we'll do it something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's gonna be really cool, man. Because there's a whole lot more to this, and it's just gonna start snowballing. But I want to get the first test out of the way and make sure we're lighted up, and then we're good.
Then we'll have to do a follow up on Rumble because certain topics can't be spoken about. Remember, this goes back to the pyramids, you guys. What did Tesla love the most? What did he research the most? The pyramids. Why? Because there were so many different things that went on in that. It wasn't just your grounding. There was like, I gotta stop.
Question, Nathan. You would be though in the field, right? Like if you're in the center of this.
Or part of the field, maybe. Theoretically, of course.
Well,
right?
wouldn't then the time time would dilate around you?
Nope.
Versus
Now you're talking a bubble. The bubble has to be created. If you're doing what we're talking about, you're bypassing the bubble entirely. Yeah, we'll get into it. Don't worry. There's a little bit to teach, but we're there.
But
Joe's gonna create the hanging gardens over there before we know it.
I don't know. It'd be cool, like if you stepped into it and then time like slows down or speeds up for you and slows down, then you get out of it, and then everything like has passed a few days, and you're like, "What happened?"
So, I'll say this: once I do the experiment with the lights, my gravity flyer then goes in the center of this thing, and we start my experiments on my gravity flyer right there. Now we'll have a bubble.
Yep.
So now we might start seeing something funny going on. So if I disappear and things start knocking over at my house, please tell my wife that I'm still there. So
yeah, we need to reverse the process.
Yeah.
But Nathan, I really like if you really do this, I still need you to do something. Watch the sky. Like put something above, like a camera to watch the sky above you.
Okay.
Usually when stuff like this happens, a lot of extraterrestrial sightings happen as well.
Ooh,
I don't know.
Say that.
Yeah, extraterrestrial sightings like UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena.
Maybe they'll come down and have a beer with me. That'd be cool.
You know, I invite them all the time, but you know. But really, like when there's a lot of energy concentrated in one area, stuff happens up in the sky too.
Okay, so here's a thought for you. Are you sure that they're showing up? Or were they always wait? Or were they always there? And the fact that you're standing in that energy is changing your frequency and giving you the ability to see them.
You know, Gerald, very interesting. You know, I don't know, but I've got videos of these things.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
I can't tell you if it was my frequency that was altered, therefore I was able to see them and record them, or they just appeared based on what was happening. So you could be onto something, you know. I don't know.
Just a thought.
So,
or is it
Joe says that he sides with Gerald.
I don't know, but you are onto something. Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, that'd be
so. I just
ahead.
wanted to update you guys real quick. I did mess around the oscilloscope, and it is an oscilloscope issue. I was messing around, like twisting a little bit, and the connection was off, and it did appear to spike up. That's 100-volt range, and it's like it's past the top in some peaks. So
nice.
We are apparently getting a big spike.
Nice.
Your
I gotta get me one of those little ones. Those are cool.
Yeah, they're really neat and they're really cheap. This was only $40, so you can get a couple of cheap ones and monitor the input and output. That's what I plan on doing at least. Pretty neat.
Nice.
It says we're more likely to see Starlink satellites at that point.
But see, Starlink satellites are in the same frequency as we are. These things that are out there aren't. It's not like they're beyond time, but they're definitely shifted in frequency to the point where we wouldn't see them in our time. Something to think about.
Oh man.
I say that because I've thought about this stuff already. I've been researching this stuff for a long time. And we're getting there to the point where the public needs to know everything. Am I wrong, Nathan?
No. Look, we started rolling the snowball, and we're gonna keep on going. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, hopefully we don't run into a brick wall. But
I still get people telling me that I need distilled water. That somebody told me to put mercury in it. Somebody told me I didn't get it because it's not the water itself; it's the minerals. And
scalar, it's the ether. It's the negative energy.
I still get told that I'm an idiot, and it's like, okay, well, when you light up dirt, you can let me know, and I'll take your call, and we can have a conversation about it. Then you can tell me it's anything you want.
Yeah,
you don't have to those naysayers. We know the truth.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Naysayers don't bother me. It just it gives us the ability to explain a little more. You know what I mean? That's all. Naysayers are just that. They can say it all day long. Well, okay, but my lights are turning on and it ain't costing me anything, so go ahead and say it.
Yeah.
Right.
So exactly. Funny, yeah. That's so cool, man. Yeah, I released all the small videos on that bigger video. So all the individual tests so that you could see that nothing was cut during the filming of it.
Nice.
So that way everybody can verify the results and stuff. And, any questions that was in their mind about any of that, they can get rid of that now. So because I edited it for that one video to make it a little bit shorter instead of seeing the same thing when I talk about the same circuit every time. So.
Yeah, I got a couple of different angles on this video that I did last. I'm trying to put the two angles in the same video, like edit it in. Not quite done it yet, but I should be by the time you and I talk again.
Yeah, I edited. I have to go through and find all kinds of stuff in there, man, just to make sure that I put it in there so that everybody, you kind of think of everything in the experiment so people can understand. And the best thing you could do is, I'm not lying to you about anything. Just go over and do it yourself. You know what I mean? I'll even tell you how to wind the coil, what it is. As a matter of fact, I made a video on it. You know what I mean? And I did it with the cheapest, oldest, dirtiest, junky pieces of wood. And I did it on purpose that way so that you could just take the scraps from under your desk and make this winding machine and wind it by hand.
Yep. That's the way to do it. Mine's not quite like that, but mine has different aspects to it. So it has to be taught. Maybe that's the issue, right? I was listening to Bob Grenier earlier today. He put out a video and he was talking to an ex-NASA employee, and he had multiple different free energy systems, but he mostly concentrated on hydrogen and devices that were connected to hydrogen. And they were talking about how the one downfall for inventors is they come up with something that's amazing, but it has to be able to be reproduced really quick and easy, or it becomes a problem and people back away from it. I get that totally. So, yeah, I like the way you're dealing with the test, You're dealing with a Tesla coil system.
Yeah, it's very
not
simple.
Easy, but it's simpler than mine. Sure.
Yeah, it's
once
simple,
you get
and
to
people
know-
can.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, people can wrap their head around it. It's simple. It's not like overly complex. Where a lot of these unconventional methods of doing things that people don't want to look into, they're very complex and it's off-putting. But it's something simple like that. It's like, oh, that's easy. Or not easy, but it's simple enough where I could try to replicate it.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, man. That's why I like what Nathan's doing. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to put this out there. Curtis was asking, just curious if we can catch him up. And absolutely, we can catch you up. But there's a lot going on here. But we're not going to release anything new until Gerald says it's all right. But the simple answer to the whole question is everything that we do, we run opposite of the way you would run a normal circuit.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that we don't use NPNs a whole lot, okay? And except for Gerald. And we use the PNP side of a transistor, okay? Gerald uses an NPN as a PNP, okay? So basically, we're pulling the negative through the circuit instead of pushing the positive through the circuit. There's a big difference, and what it does is it makes the electricity cold. So we're getting cold potential energy. What that does to your system is completely different than what hot energy does. So if you want to sit and write physics papers, this is the side to write them on because nobody's explored it. But I would say nobody explored it in physics, but for us, this is what we work with every day. So when we start showing you anomalies everywhere, it's because we found all of them and we found out how to multiply them. And then a lot of your inventions that only the inventor can work and you can't when you go to rebuild it, it's because of the simple fact of how we're running the wiring and how we're changing it. Because if you run it the opposite way, it'll never work. If you run it the right way, it'll work perfectly. So there's a whole thing going on there. And then the fact of what we're finding in these coils and how we can change the temperature, that's like a whole thing in itself.
Yeah, controlling the temperature is just golden, especially if you put it where you want.
Because we realize there's two sides. There's a hot side and a cold side. In physics, they only deal with the hot side. So you wouldn't know to change the temperature in it because you don't know about the cold side. And that leads into the whole ether effect and how we move energy, multiply fields, things like that. So, I'm kind of condensing a lot of stuff here, but and I'll let Gerald tell you, but there's just a lot more to it. So to catch up in maybe like 10 minutes, it wouldn't work. It would take quite a while.
And here's a thought for you. Like when you're talking about temperature, when it comes to hot and cold, maybe it's just a thought, a black hole being cold, the other side being a white hole. So maybe a black hole is more of a way of transport than it is something that just sucks things in. Just a thought, right? I say that because of the experiments and the things that I've seen, but I am not in space, so can't prove it, right? Not yet, anyway. To catch you up would take a little bit, as it is. What Nathan here is doing with the Tesla coil is a basic, but it's a principle that we use in the systems that we're running. The thing that I have going on, there's a little bit more to it. There's a couple of parameters we don't talk about on air for good reason. So
to touch on what you said about black holes maybe being a way of transport, that actually rang to me as interesting because what we see in the rodent coil is it acts like what Randy Powell describes as a desktop black hole. It simulates some of the same effects. And we know that we can magnetically synchronize, magnets so they can be controlled at a distance. I wonder if we can actually synchronize with a black hole at a distance and use that as a method for traveling.
I'm going to leave that one alone for now.
Okay.
Sorry, that one I'm gonna not touch for a little bit because there's some groundwork that needs to be laid before I answer that question.
So
Well,
Curtis says
we'll
so.
come back to that then.
He says it still sounds like it's an open question, but not centered circuitry anomalous effects.
No, it's actually, I know exactly what's going on. I could name all the different theories that coincide with the work, but like I said, I'd much rather lay the groundwork and to do it here on Mike's show within the next 20 minutes. It's impossible. There's too much. Sorry. That's just the way the system works.
It's more than an anomaly in a circuit. It's how you pull the energy through the circuit that matters. So it basically takes all your circuitry knowledge and throws it out the window. And
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so when you look at something and you say, okay, this is where the wire goes and this is how I connect it and this and that, right? Well, you may have the connections right, but you're not pulling the energy right. So you don't understand how the load works. You wouldn't understand why it works, why you're pulling energy one way versus the other, why you have to do something to it. And then if you don't pull the heat out in a certain area, it won't work on the cold side. You can cancel the field. You can make the field flip. You know what I mean? Things just that are not natural to most circuits. This is what the tech we're talking about.
Yep.
It's an absolute revolution in an understanding of how this stuff works. It'll boggle your mind as how much we're actually doing.
And no, I'd rather not make a claim. I'd much rather just show you what it does. Like I said, we're getting there.
We're getting there, yeah. The Tesla coil, by the way, is just the tip of the iceberg. It's something easy everybody can get into. Everybody can follow it, and learn the basics of the cold side of energy. And then once you start to see it, you're going to start putting different coil dimensions together. Gerald's is absolutely mind-blowing what he did. And the video I can make about that would just trip you out all the way. It's insane. So
yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say it took some work. There's been some time put into it. 14 years overall. So yeah, there's some interesting stuff that's happened along the way. And they're not just anomalies anymore. They're the kind of thing I just flip a switch and I know how to make work, and every procedure that it takes and every wiring schematic and every circuit. And I've been mapping this out. This isn't something I'm looking for. This is something I'm looking to describe. So that being said.
What was that word that you used? I'm trying to think of that temperature word that you used. And it wasn't hysteresis, it was the other one.
Temperature differential?
No, it was another one after that.
Pyroelectricity?
No. Oh my God, entropy.
Oh, entropy. Yeah, I love entropy. The more entropy there is, the better. In fact, I want to pump that entropy in there if I could, because I'm just going to steal it.
So it would be like learning hysteresis, but then Gerald turns that into entropy. It's basically the way it works.
You know what? Entropy is just a way of me capturing all that energy back and doing what I want with it. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that's the way it should have been from the start, rather than us fighting with entropy and heat and all the other crap that goes along with it. We should have literally put the system so that it's working, allow the entropy to occur, capture it on its way out, and then, well, there's so much you can do with it. It's like filling up a tub and you just take out a cup all day long. You're not going to make a difference to that tub because it's still filling as you're pulling out the cup. Every time you pull that cup out, it actually fills quicker, or almost it seems quicker than you're pulling that cup out.
Mm-hmm.
If that analogy works for you, sort of thing. So yeah.
It says we need to talk. So I think once we get past when Gerald presents his stuff and we get in to the next test we do, I think that would be an appropriate time if Gerald's up for it, that we should do that.
I could say that.
Because then it'll be really something more.
Yeah, this could go to some big places, we'll say.
Yeah, we'll be the couple rednecks on Mars for you, setting up your electrical system. That's the way it'll work.
Yeah.
We'll set up a whole grid for you. Oh, man, that's so funny. I love it when stuff like that works. You know what I mean? Because we sit in here all day and we're just like, engineers working on stuff. So we don't have any fancy degrees or nothing. It's nothing like that. We just like to build stuff, and that's kind of the fun for us. So we'll build something completely backwards, and then it'll work. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's like the greatest joy.
Nobody told us we couldn't.
Yeah.
Like in a sense where, that's not going to work. Well, you got to try it anyway, right? So now people are telling us that won't work. It's impossible. Okay. Again, my lights are running. You can tell me it's impossible all you want. You can even give it a name. I don't care. Call it Steve. It doesn't matter. Right? Like,
yeah, if I needed help with something and I was like in class as an engineer and I had found a cool video and I wanted to test it, like a free energy device, and I went to my teacher and was like, hey, can you help me with this? He'd be like, oh, you're wasting your time. Don't bother.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's any fault of theirs as much as it is they've been forced to think a certain way. Forced is not quite the right word. But they've been in that position where they have to think a certain way. They're not allowed to think outside the box. And their funding defines what projects they work on. So they're stuck just as much as the next guy in a sense. So I don't fault the people in academia. I fault the academia at the top for manipulating all those that work underneath them. That's where my head's at.
Yeah, I can't wait till the next couple of sorry, Phil. I was just say I can't wait till the next couple of videos come out because it's like the best part. Go ahead, Phil.
It's like I'm working with the National Research Center of Canada, NRC, and they say, I need to I just want to do a simple experiment. I cannot go with any institution. I need to go with a prestigious university and all that bull crap. It's like, all right, so I already did. If I want to get funded and things like that, so already it's it's just some sort of game.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle, right? Like, because you have something you're trying to get out there, but if you don't have a degree or you're part of their whole system, then you're not even going to get looked at. And the part that sucks is it's not you that suffers because you have it, right? Like if you got it, it doesn't matter. But the people that are out there that need it, that are suffering, it can't get to them. Why? Whether it's ego, whether it's the way the system's created or built, or whether it's evolved into that, either way, it stops the inventor, the engineer, the guy like you from getting it out. And that sucks.
Exactly. That's not science. Science, it's about questioning all the time and reinventing and, rebuilding all the time. And now we're stuck with that goddamn prestige mantra that you have to, you need a PhD and you need to go to the best university and all that bullcrap.
With all due respect to the best universities, if they understood what was going on, they would actually be the best.
Yeah, I know.
but
for me,
it's monopolizing knowledge at the end of the day. It's
at the end of the day, nobody want to take risks. everybody wants money. Nobody want to take risks, and that's about it. They don't want to. They don't want to. You can't prove that. If you prove that um, 30 universities are wrong with a simple experiment, they're all going to lose their job and so on. They're not going to be able to publish. Blah blah blah. So
And
it's
I feel bad for that, but you know what? If you were true to yourself and to the university, you would have came out with that information, or at least behind the scenes worked on it, and then brought it out and had nothing to do with your university. There's a lot of really intelligent people that work in universities and go to universities. The unfortunate part is, like I said before, they're stuck. They have to look at only certain things. And
yeah, I know. The problem with the academia is they don't take any risks. They don't want to. They the commercial sector is completely the opposite. It's all about risk, and you lose everything if you don't make if one of your decision is not right. So it's pretty damn risky. So it's completely the opposite. So um, there's a lot of smart people in the academia for sure. They're very smart. I mean, there's a girl. She has an IQ greater than Einstein.
And that's the other part too, right? The old like Einstein, Steinmetz, like they're propped up so much that if you step out, like you said, there's 30 universities and you tell them, okay, I have this tech and it works like this, but it goes against their narrative, then they're not even going to look at you, or they'll shun you or try and cancel you because you're going to make Albert Einstein look like he's not so smart.
Okay, so check this out, guys. It actually works to our advantage. Just understand this. Since they don't want to hear it, they're not going to listen to us, which is perfect because now I can do all the work I want, put it out online, have people replicate it, have multiple devices everywhere. And by the time that they catch up, they just have egg on their face. So you can decide how you want to do it. I don't care. That's why I open source the work that I do.
Yep.
It's here it is. I'm not lying to you. Here's how it works. And replicate it. And as soon as you replicate it, let me know. And I will actually do a show on it and show your replication and tell you did a good job. I mean,
yeah, that's exactly why I don't really mind, because it gives me the opportunity to go sell my knowledge to the military, and if I can make tons of money with it, then all the better. I don't care.
I don't want any money from it. I just don't care. I just don't want it. Yeah. My life is good the way it is. If I could do something with less than $100 worth of parts and it transforms life as we know it, man, I'm happy.
Yeah, but for me, I already made my manuscript is public. Everything I made so far is public, and people still think that I don't know what I'm doing. So the hell with that. I give up. I'm just gonna sell my stuff. And
you know what? You're not the only one that has come across that or come up against that brick wall. I don't blame you. It's not my cup of tea. I wouldn't do it, but I get what you're saying.
But yeah, even if I already showed my experiment works, my anti-gravity experiment works, the Cavendish experiment, the electrolysis thing, they all work. It's I feel like I'm beating a dead horse,
I have a question. If you sell it, is it to fund something bigger, or is that's it? You're like, you're satisfied.
Just gonna sell it. I have multiple projects, so it's not like I don't put all my eggs in the same basket. It's just I don't want to sell it for $1 million. I just want to sell it for a couple of thousands, and I'll be happy with that because I have other projects anyways,
I'd sell. I know what you mean, because I'd sell 2 of my inventions right now. One of them has nothing to do with this tech, and the other one, it does have something to do with this tech. But like Nathan said, we're releasing the tech for free. I don't care about money in that sense. But to make a device and sell that to somebody who's going to make it public and get it out there to everybody, I would do that.
I studied a little bit about finance. So, but listen to this. If you bring a proposal, like a business proposal, that there's a facility, that you're going to employ people, that you're going to have a department, that you're going to have a system, like a complete integrated system, they fund you. They give you loans, they give you grants, but you have to set it up to where you're showing them the bigger picture and not just what is that you're seeing.
What you mean? Yeah.
Anything, but if you give it that grander structure around it, that's what they want, because that makes money. That makes other things that they're in cahoots with work. Like whether it's a vendor or a particular product or a contractor that's going to build your thing. They have hands, everywhere. So if your idea fits the structure that they're looking for, they don't care what you're going to be building, but as long as they benefit off of everything else around it.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't like people with their hand out when I build something. I don't want to be on their timeline. I don't want to be on their schedule. I simply want to build it and walk away. So I'm the guy that'll just tell you, here you go, here it is. Throw me, the money for the licensing and you're good to go. You know what I mean? Or if you do a paper, just simply put my name on there. And, I don't care if yours is first. Just put my name on there that I'm the one that, did the lab work for you. You know what I mean? That'd be cool. I can live with that. That's that. I just don't care because I don't want to be involved in having a business. I don't want to be involved in paying employees, and I don't want to be involved in, the responsibility of all of it. I simply want to enjoy my life and build this stuff and have fun and hang out with my friends and, do that. That's it.
Yeah.
And then I want to eventually make Sean's lake disappear. That's on my list, Sean. Don't ever let me forget that. Anyway, go ahead, Joe.
I'll help. Yeah, and I'm with Nathan. I've said this before. I don't want any money for this tech. The tech's for free. That's to the world. That's, but for me, I want to build a small business building devices for people based on this tech. There's going to be a million, if not 100,000 at least, of different devices that spawn from this, because Victor said it already, it's very old tech. It's just been rediscovered, but we don't have anything like it as of today, and it's going to help a lot of people if it gets out there. Think about the jobs it's going to create, the different businesses that'll open up from this. Insane. It could remake America, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but the thing, you have to market it at some point. People have to know about it,
Well, that's the point, though. That's what we're doing with the experiments. We're showing people what others think of as anomalies, and we're getting it out there so that it's kind of understood, at least seen, before we show the big finale.
And you guys haven't yet colored outside of the lines on what, on certain channels, you can't say what these things could possibly do, You're just staying in the parameters of, growing plants, lighting up little light bulbs here and there, and, just this much smaller potential of it. But it has let me keep my mouth like this, but it does have other potentials.
A lot of potentials. Like I said, I've been mapping this for a while. Yeah. So there's a lot to it.
Yeah, one of the other things, when you take funding, they tell you no.
Yeah.
And you can't push this envelope, you can't push that envelope, and I won't be told that either.
Yeah.
it's bad enough I live in California. They tell me no and everything. You can't have anything in California. If they saw the water in my backyard, they tell me I have a swimming pool. And yeah, it's just bad. So
What, you can't have a swimming pool?
oh, you can, but or they'll tell me it's a pond, and then they got to shut me down, and then have a government agency coming in. California is like the worst on everything, man. It's just bad.
They have
I wish
laws
it was
on-
better.
But think of it like this: when you have a, let's say, I know you said you're against any kind of funding, but remember, you like to build things. You like to, whatever. Wouldn't you be happy with a much bigger facility where you could, do bigger thing, scale these things up, rather,
Not,
like what to do.
not if we're not in full control. And
No.
that's the thing when it comes to funding,
We're
the
assuming
one that funds you controls you.
no, we're assuming full control on experimentation. Right? I mean, the whole thing is about let's experiment with these things, but how
It would-
like a garage size experiment is great, but the bigger one,
Well,
where
in my mind, I'd have to be the one to define the parameters of the contract. They wouldn't be done by them, and they don't like that. It's my money. You do as I say. I get it, but that's not what I'm here for.
Okay,
Money
so
doesn't mean crap. It's here today, gone tomorrow, right?
real
Right.
quick, Gerald, you got an email,
Oh, I'll check it out right now.
and then let's just put it this way, Lulu. It's already built.
Yeah,
Everything's already built. I don't need their funding to build anything. I've already bought all the equipment. I already checked it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I could literally take a Tesla coil and any one you got, and I can lower the frequency to any tuning fork you want. I can literally show you how sound moves that, and then start off tuning forks around your room.
Could you broadcast that signal?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I can already do that are well beyond what anybody else's lab can touch. They wouldn't even know where to start. They'd be winding for days, have a million coils, and wouldn't figure it out.
I have ideas. My gosh, I have ideas. Like if I understand the exact things on how, like I know exactly then where to apply it. Like I have ideas on this stuff. Remember, I like space.
Yeah.
Oh, I I like the whole, astrophysics part of it. So for me, my mind always takes something and thinks of an application outside, not necessarily inside, but how could we use it up there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
many applications up there. Many.
Yeah.
What was
Oh,
it that you said, Nathan? There's probably 4 to 6 Nobel Peace Prizes if papers are written right on this system.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're all there. I
We're
mean,
there.
not only that, just to understand, just to throw this back to something else, if I could just explain to you how frequency changes your voltage and it changes your amps and the heat, if you just understood that, that's a whole nother prize in itself. That's the understanding of that is principal paramount to this system. You're not moving things without it. And it's
You know what?
it's not written. You have to write it, and I probably have to write the laws for it and how it works, and then explain it all, and then let somebody put it in a formal paper so it's done.
I wrote the preliminary for that because you had given me that schematic and I had drawn it out with the 6-pointed crystal around it for frequency, magnetics, heat. You know what I mean? So that is the basic principle to being able to understand part of this text. So you're right. It's in here, right?
That's like the first paper I write because you can't start the system until you have that. Like, you could get some of the other effects to work, but this is like the fundamental principle of getting what you want. Because
for
then
controlling the
for
different
control of it, yeah.
You're right. Absolutely. I'm going to add that to that page. That's what that's for control. I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Like
So,
your fire, you can make it like through frequency maneuver from side to side or up, down, or sideways.
That's a different method, but the frequency is like the base of how do I put that? It helps you kick it off so that once you're in the air, so to speak, you can shut the frequency off and it's just running on a bubble.
Okay, so say I had two coils, right? I have an outer coil and an inner coil. And all I want to do is run them at the same frequency. So I'm going to put them in resonance, right? So if I want to run them at 300 kilohertz each. Now, all I want to do is transfer heat in my system in order to make something run. Okay? In order to get a secondary system to start to oscillate around it, right? Just like creating a magnetic field. The one thing I'm going to do is on the one I want colder, I'll raise the frequency. And then on the one I want hotter, I'll lower the frequency. And we don't have to do it by a lot, just a little bit. Okay? So now I'm just tipping the scale. Now I'm going to have a transfer. My heat always wants to, follow, or my cold always wants to follow the heat. You know what I mean? It's like a circle.
Mm-hmm.
And once you do that, then you've created your system, right? So now by just knowing how to do that, now I can transfer heat and cold wherever I want on my system, just by being able to control the voltage and amps in the system, because I know the correlation. Frequency gives you cold if you go higher, and then amps, you know what I mean? You have to go to a lower frequency and you'll get more heat out of it. Now, with that simple relationship, now I can control the heat in my system, and now I can make it work.
And if your system's nonlinear, in other words, it creates spin, there's you can move that stuff around in ways that it's way more controllable in a sense, right?
Especially if you're using geometry in your coils.
Yeah.
That Joe doesn't want to tell you, but that's true. That geometry matters in the coil when you start doing that, because it really matters where you put it.
Geometry allows superposition to occur. Well, I shouldn't say it quite like that because that's misleading. But geometry coupled with a bunch of different anomalies or effects within the system have that occur.
But they're not even anomalies anymore when you look at it.
No.
It's a building block in the system in order to make it operate properly.
Yeah, that's probably a better description. It's a building block, right? They're the different things, the effects that engineers try and get rid of. It's a building block.
Yeah. By effects, you create like a control, a protocol, like, if this and this and this means this, like voltage, watts, whatever you have it, it's going to give you a, how's this thing moving? All of its different parameters,
It moves through the flow of energy.
Yeah.
And the flow of energy is directly connected to geometrical forms, which when it's flowing through it, allows superposition to occur, which gives you other effects that couple to that and magnify the whole system. It's interesting. I could name off all the things that go into it, but
let's put it this way. In a cold electricity circuit, right, it'll be different than a hot. And I'll say it in this way. You have a lot more control in the cold system than you would a hot. And it happens in this way. I say, in a perfect system where there is no loss, and all I want to do is change things around. Well, I know that if it goes on the outside of the wire, right, and it's like this, and I know DC works like that, and I know there's a secondary field that's a magnetic field, all I want to do is pinch it, right? So I'm basically covering my PWM, but the way they write it is like this from the bottom. That's incorrect. It goes from the top because you have full power. You drop the power and then come back up. So as you see that, it's like a hose, and all you're doing is kinking the hose and bringing it out. in a perfect system, all I simply did was take my volts and I moved them to amps, and amps creates heat. Now I'm creating heat in the wire. Now, I didn't lose that heat. The heat's still there. When I take it out of that PWM and go back to the field, now it jumps back to voltage again. But say that I wanted to take out the heat in the system and I wanted to remove some of the amps. When I remove some of the amps, it goes off the wire a little bit and creates more voltage with a higher frequency. Now you can understand my manipulation. At any time that I want, I can create that in the system and control my voltage and heat and my cold in the system. I say a cold system works better, okay, because it's more understandable at low temperatures. But a hot system wouldn't really matter either. Okay, it really depends on how much heat you have, because I'm staying away from hysteresis in this completely. I'm just using it, like I said, in a perfect system where I transfer from one to the next. How much you manipulate it is how much you'll have. That's it. And I can prove it. I already have the proof.
Yep.
But, you know, I already have it. It's a done deal. It's a fact on how it works. But the thing is, most people see it as like, okay, you have this wave and then it creates a magnetic wave at 90 degrees. Well, that's not the way it works at all. It works in fields. It doesn't work in angles like that. It's geometry. It's not, we're not building squares here.
You can capture it in a 90-degree off phase angle, but that's because there's rotation, right? Like everybody thinks that power runs through a wire. It doesn't. It runs
On the
around.
outside.
Yeah. I mean, there is parts that run through it. It's through and around, but more on the outside. Right?
The only part that really runs through the wire is what you force into it.
Yeah.
You have to pinch it in order to force it into the wire. That's it.
And when you're forcing in power into the wire, that wire creates its own field. Regardless whether you think it does or not, it does. And that field is rotating.
That's why I always talk about charge in the fact that it has more charge on one side, less charge on the other, instead of saying positive and negative, because it's when you really get down to it, that's all it is. And if you start thinking positive and negative to everything, you won't understand how to flip a field. And it'll drive you nuts because you keep trying to correlate it with your wire direction and whether that's positive or negative, and you think they're the same thing and they're not. And you won't know how to flip a charge on a field. So I always go back to my little paper lifter experiment. I can create a tremendous amount of charge in a field, and I can multiply it. So, I mean, really, what are you trying to do here? We're not putting things on a scale to make the scale go down. We're looking for anti-gravity. If you want to see if that reduces weight, I'm all for it. Let's do the experiment the right way. But I'm not looking to do it to create some ion wind thing. Ion wind is a waste of energy.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, the ion wind is a toy.
Yeah. It may be useful in certain circumstances, but not for what we're trying to do.
What do you think the practical applications could be for ion wind, though?
Clean up the smell in your room.
Oh, so it's like a sterilizer.
Yeah, I don't. That's
Jay
all it is to me.
Jay from the Plasma Channel is using it for a boat. It's a awesome.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you think about it, because water has, the resistance on water is less, I guess, in this sense. So it's a good idea, but I don't know. I don't know what ion wind is good for. You have to ask a physicist for that, laddie.
Okay. Let me just pull this up for you guys. So I want to show you this. All right. Because I want to make sure we don't get the wrong idea here. And I think we're going to be close to getting to the end here, guys.
Yeah, we're at the 2-hour mark.
Yeah.
Frequency. I spoke about how it changes the overall amount of voltage and amps in the circuit. So, guys, big shout out to FlameJet51. We have an awesome validation video here for you. I'll go ahead and play it, and then I'll play the original video. If you're not already subscribed to this guy, I'll leave a link in the description so you can go ahead and subscribe to him, guys. He's got some amazing stuff coming out, and I hope you enjoyed this video of validation that he did.
Hey, hope everyone's good. This is a video in response to Old Man Builds. Nathan's got a good point there. So let's take a look at what we've got going on here. So cruise over here, right? So you notice what's happening here, right? You see how the frequency is changing, right? We have response there. Now let's look over here, right? So we initially dialed it up to 12 volts, but you can see we're just under 4 amps of draw, right? So when we actually change the pulse width, check this out. See that? See how the amps start dropping and the voltage rises, right? It's an inversion. All right, we'll go the other way. Notice the amps are rising, voltage is dropping, right? There's your duty cycle action. I haven't adjusted the voltage at all, okay? Now when we look at the frequency, what happens this time, right? As I go up in the frequency, the amperage drawn goes down, right? And there it is, you hear that? That's what we're talking about right there. He's totally right. There's a 5-to-1, okay? As we know, everything is connected. You know, you can't just change one thing and expect to get something, you know, isolated. Everything changes and moves with it. All right, so we're also looking at the actual resonant frequency of the flyback system itself, right? So I'm changing the pulse width. You notice we've dropped in voltage, right? There's a raise in amperage. Pulse width down, right? Raise in voltage, drop in amperage. See that? Now we're increasing the frequency. Now we're decreasing the frequency. Now you hear that, right? So we're coming out of the ultrasonic range. Right, and this has a lot to do with the resonant frequency of our flyback, right? So everyone's slightly different. You got to kind of find your zone. So look where we're at right now. 8 grand. Right, let's take it all the way. Right. So you see that now we're way high on the amperage, right? So we'll change the pulse width. Yep, wrong way, right? See that? Lowering of amperage, raising of voltage. Right? You can hear it kind of slowing down. So yeah, highly recommend checking out Old Man Build's video on this particular subject. There is a lot going on.
So, just so we understand, it's a simple effect. It's not that complicated, but it changes systems. So you want to know why half the systems fail? It is simply that. They don't realize this is going on in the background, and then their system overheats, or it changes the results of the experiment because there's too much frequency and too much voltage. And they're not realizing the correlation. They never took it into effect, and they never mapped it with their experiment running. Therefore, they get a failure in the experiment. So now that you know it, and now you know how to control it, he told you right there, you're controlling it with your PWM, so your duty cycle, right? And then you're going to also control it with your frequency. So this is a simple $10 part on Amazon that you buy, and you could do both. That's about how simple it is. But now it's set. Now it's not going to adjust without you adjusting it. Now you have control of your system. Most people, like when I do flyback experiments and stuff, right? they always try to get the right flyback. Well, I could take this $10 part and I could put it in there, and now I control the flyback. I control how much voltage goes through it. I control how much amps go through it. Now I can reach a charge state in 2 seconds, and you'll go through 50 flybacks before you even get close to it. And 90% of the time, you're going to put out ion wind and fail and get a very bad number where you have to measure it in the little micro amounts versus my, pounds amount. And we're going to have different charge amounts on our stuff because I understood where it came from and you didn't.
Yep. Charge matters. Actually, everything matters, like you've seen in that video, right? Especially when
I noticed that that little graph or chart or the symbol diagram with the heat on one side and the radiation on the other and the voltage and the amps, and I never seen something like that. That was real. I mean, but it makes sense. There are two aspects of the same phenomenon type of thing. I take it. They're okay.
Yeah, they're like flip side of either coin, right?
Yeah.
I like that you could hear the different, while he's changing the amperage versus
you can hear it.
Huh?
You can hear the amplitude of the flyer in the background picking up speed or changing and
in tone.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So you wrote something you couldn't say, Gerald?
What's that?
You wrote something you could not say?
I've wrote a book. This is the map for my coil.
Gerald wrote the principle in his book.
Yeah, like I've taken a piece from a lot of different people to put together this theory, and I'm not exactly sure if it's complete, but I mean I've written a book on it. I've got a book on all the circuits that operate it.
The main Kampf.
Right? So it's like, and when it comes to notes, I got 12 binders of notes. And
that's a little pocket one too. I like that. So you can fit it in your little pocket.
Yeah, for the circuits. Yeah.
No, you had a littler one, didn't you? Little mini one?
That's the little one there. This is
it's just at a weird you had it. Okay. That's still pretty small. It's pocket size. You can fit it in your pocket.
Yeah. That way I always have it with me if I'm doing experiments. It's right close by, right? It's not taking up a bunch of room. Because as you all know, when you're experimenting, sure, you may have that little spot that's clean, but the rest of it's filled with like 10 different experiments or 10 different projects you're working on. So.
Oh, yeah. Everything you see on camera has been thoroughly cleaned, and like right off camera, it's all a mess.
Yeah.
Like on my camera, at least.
that's how it is here.
Yeah, clean liver one little spot.
You don't want to look to the left or to the right in my room, I'm telling you.
So Ian says he's still waiting, Gerald. This is the third time he said it in the chat tonight.
I bowed my head in shame. The circuit's right here. I just have to do the video on it to explain it. But as I said before, it's the same pulse circuit that I gave you. It's just I got to explain it, I guess. So I'm sorry, Ian.
Well, are you going to use more words than you did last time? Because your last explanation kind of sucked.
Come on, that was beautiful. It was meant for the live. That's why I did it on the video. Here it is. Look at it. See you later.
I know what it was for. I'm just laughing.
It was perfect.
He said, I think, less than 10 words, and then was like, have a nice day. Yeah, real chatty there.
You know, I think it's an inventor's thing when you hold things like I've been mapping this for a while, so I've been kind of keeping it not secret, but I've had to keep it to myself for a while. But now it's gotten to the point where it's kind of hard to kind of even bring it out of myself to explain it properly. I know it, like, you know, head to back and toe to my ears, but it's pulling it out is sometimes difficult. That's why you're so great, Nathan. You're the explainer. It's perfect.
All right, guys. We're about at the end. It's already 2.5 hours. So Mike usually runs a show about this, and that's it. So
from directly from the explainer and decider, Nathan.
I don't know if it's all that. I'm just one of the guys. Okay, let's just put it that
He's
way.
the CEO, head of the board at the time, right?
So
So
I don't think so. That guys put me in a weird position. I'm not that guy.
I like to say the decider, like George W. Bush used to say.
we're gonna make Lulu the decider. That way everything
There you
goes
go.
right. She's like, no. I'm just playing, Lulu. You're awesome.
Nobody wants the responsibility of trying to corral us in the room together.
Right?
It's just not okay.
No. Me with the circuits, you playing in the mud. You know, Phil's playing with his Mercury. And
Well,
about
Wait,
Straight Jacket's talking about holes.
yeah.
Cool flotation device in Nathan's mud pile there.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, don't forget, guys. My next experiment is to jump into a black hole.
Oh yeah.
Listen,
I want it on video.
so
Right.
Yeah, you got to take a camera with you.
you guys talk things, but
My
really,
sorry, Lulu.
test subject. I'm here. Like I like this stuff. So why
My
not?
son just asked me what my goal is for all this and all these lives. And I might have mentioned it before on lives before, but I want a floating platform and I want it in every town and I want it in every city. If there's an earthquake, a flood, a fire, a natural disaster,
That'd be cool.
you get on the platform, you turn it on, and it just sits above it.
And a hoverboard too. That's what
It's
I
a
want.
safety mechanism for rescue. That's my goal. That's where I'm looking for. So,
That would be amazing. We would be able to use that for so many different things, like ocean rescue, from all sorts of buildings on fire, all sorts of stuff.
yep, that's the idea anyway.
Or we could stack them and then we live in them. Like levitating buildings.
Yeah,
Oh, there you
the
go.
flying hotel.
Yeah, you mean?
Now that you think about it, Lulu, I want an island that floats.
Yeah. There
Right?
you go.
with what Nathan's doing, you never know. We might be able to.
Hey,
know if I
it
go
would look
that
just
far,
like the
but-
Mushroom Kingdom.
You and your mushrooms.
Too many magic mushrooms that day. Wow.
I'm not touching that one. We're gonna start getting into the Star Trek video.
Oh. All right, guys. Tomorrow, me and Joe in the morning, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then Sunday, we haven't set the schedule for that yet, so we'll see. It's got an open day there, and I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So that's my schedule. And then Monday, Fringe Think Tank like normal. So, and then we're going to watch APAC. So I'm sure I'll see you guys all in the chat there. Anything you guys
What
got
time is
going
that
on?
on?
I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look it up.
Pacific.
It's earlier than 2 because it's an anniversary edition. Curtis Horn had said.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Ben, what do you got going there? Got more printing stuff going on?
No, we're just coming up to 88% done on the little micro coil. So I just wanted to show you before we close out. It's almost done.
You're gonna have to buy some more PLA.
Yeah, but it's honestly, it's not that expensive on Amazon. So I looked it up.
That $22.
Yeah,
That's not
it's not bad. It lasts, it's a decent amount. It's like what, 5.5 pounds.
I don't think it's that much, is it?
It's a decent reel.
It's a decent wheel, yeah.
Yeah, you may be right. Who knows? I don't pay attention. I go through so much of that stuff, man. I got like 40 or 50 boxes of it. So
Wow.
the different colors, carbon fiber, wood, whatever I wanted to use for the project that day. I got some with metal shavings in it. Some that are like silk, so that they come out super shiny. And then some of the multicolor ones, so you can make dragons.
Green. You gave me green. Were you trying to say something?
No, it was not. I have a lot of partial rolls, and the green was a full one, and it was PLA.
I don't care about color. I'm just busting your balls. You know what I mean?
No. I could have sent you ABS and really threw your mind into limbo.
You know what? At this point, it's all learning curve anyway. Like I know PLA goes in it. I know there's other things that go in it. I have no idea what the other things are yet. So you win. All
Yeah,
right,
guys,
chocolate
hey.
in mine.
Phil, good luck on everything. I hope your paper works out for you, and I hope it comes out really nice.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, good luck on that, Phil.
We'll be
Thanks.
rooting for you, Phil. You're gonna take us with you. I'm just kidding.
Of course, of course.
You go by your island and you invite us up for a weekend, all right? That's
Wait, no. He already told us we're in the spacecraft. He's going in the black hole first, so I think he's going to chain his leg to ours. We're not going to have a choice. We're going whether we like it or not.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and then it's gonna be the floating island with floating fire and everything. Floating, how do you say that? Bonfire. Yeah, let's go.
That would be a cool sight. A floating fire.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Very cool.
All right, everybody. That's awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you to Mike's audience and to the audience that have been here for us. You guys are great.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate everybody coming in. Mike, we'll see you not next week, but the week after that.
Right,
And I'll be here next week to do Mike's show as well.
Thanks, everybody.
Prosper.
That's all, folks. Da-da.